I had failure after failure after failure,
Eunice.
and it was a bit of a disaster.
Hi, I'm Philippa Constable and I'm here with Eunice Learmont. And we're going to be talking about what inspires Eunice and a bit about finding out about her and what goes on behind the scenes and why she went into business for herself. And this is part of our series, Be Inspired with Eunice. So Eunice, hi.
I
Eunice, tell me more about what's got you started in business, full stop, working for yourself.
It was a series of misfortunes, if you like, that with hindsight has now, I'm grateful that those things happened. I was working for academia in a university, postgraduate university, and unfortunately with various cuts, I was made redundant. And at that time, I'd been cocooned in the world of academia. So I figured I need to go and get another job. And everywhere I went to apply for things, having not worked or not applied for work for such a long time,
Yes.
I was unfamiliar with what the ground looked like.
Yeah.
So I had failure after failure after failure.
Eunice.
And it was a bit of a disaster. And
what, applying for jobs and not getting them, or?
it was applying for jobs and then being told, great, thank you very much, however, you're overqualified, and or the job was not as advertised, or just various things.
Wasn't happening.
It just wasn't happening. And even it changed my spectrum on basically, well, what am I applying for? Am I pitching too high? Am I pitching too low? And and I wasn't being particularly picky. It got to a point because I was like, I don't need to work in an office. I'm happy to make coffee, at a coffee shop or stack shelves in a shop. And everywhere I went, it was thanks, but no thanks. I came from a military background, and
Okay.
there were military personnel coming back from war zones, either having fatally or coming back seriously wounded.
Right.
And either their wills were not done properly, or there was no power of attorney, or various circumstances meant that the families were struggling.
Yes.
And it was just not right. So I was asked, would I retrain with the possibility of going into regiments pre-deployment and talking to soldiers and imparting to them the importance of needing a will or powers of attorney set up. So I retrained to be a will writer. And first, I remember my very first presentation. I had to stand in front of 350 soldiers and explain to them that they're about to deploy. But before they go, they need to make sure they look after their families. And my box of business cards just disappeared. But bizarrely, I only wrote one will.
Out of 350 soldiers?
Out of 350, I only wrote one will.
What was holding them back, do you think?
I think for some of them, it's denial. For some of them, it's tempting fate. And for some of them, it's invincibility.
Yeah.
They're in a profession where they're trained to be elite, and what do they have to worry about? They will.
Yeah.
So it was a real shock for me. And in one instance, one of the young soldiers that I had counseled, if you like, he was not yet able to drive. He was too young, and he caught a bus and went to an office to then Skype me, and we had a conversation. And he said, I don't know what this is all about, but can you explain it to me? So I explained, you have wishes that you might want to happen if you were not to be able to return. And he said, I want my sister to have dancing lessons. That was his fundamental, that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. He goes, didn't worry about anything else. He says, I want my sister to have dancing lessons. I have taken out all the insurance that I can take. And I said, that's fine. I said, I can do that. And we chatted a little longer. And he said, I need to go home and talk to my dad. And I never heard from him again. And very sadly, he didn't come home.
Had he made a will?
No.
With some? No.
And so for me, that was one of my encounters in networking. Was the night before the networking meeting I had attended, I got this news. And I remember turning up at networking so angry and so upset because I couldn't help him.
And I think what an incredible story there. And I think obviously that is what probably really inspires you with what you're
It's
to
a
do what you do.
constant reminder.
Oh
It's a constant reminder that there was someone there that I've spoken to who was only 17, and to have gone, and did his greatest duty.
yes.
And I couldn't fulfill a little part of that for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that's an inspirational moment for me. Yeah.
Thank you, Eunice. It's been absolutely brilliant to know more about you.
Thank
I didn't
you.
know that, and we've been networking together for some time, so that was really good. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay.